Am I the idiot for not letting a classmate cheat? So, I, 20F, am in college now. We have our end semester exams going on. Yesterday, we had one practical exam. I'm doing graphics, so our practicals are held in computer labs. The seating arrangement was roll number wise, so I was seated next to my classmate with the roll number prior to mine. Now, quick history, I'm not close with that guy. He's just a classmate and we don't even talk during classes. He's also the type of guy who plays mobile games while the professor is teaching something. Now, before the exam started, he told me desperately, "Please, I didn't practice anything. I beg you with folded hands. Please help me." Now, I was a little shocked to see how desperate he was, owning to the fact that yesterday's practical was one of the most easy ones, where you don't even need to practice, just use your creative ideas. And we also had 4 days of study break for this exam. Well, he was still looking at me, so I mumbled, "Okay." Then, as the test started, there were 2 questions only, both of 20 marks. He asked me which one will I attempt first, so I said number 1. So we both opened the file on our computers each. I started doing my work and via side-eye, I noticed he was just blatantly copying. Not even changing a little bit. Now this made me nervous, because when the examiner will check he'll find 2 similar files and he'd understand there was cheating, and might cancel both the works. So I told him once that please change yours a little bit. You can copy, but please don't do it exactly like mine. He nodded, but after a few minutes when I checked, he was doing the same thing again. So I repeated my words once again, then twice, then thrice. By that time I had enough. So I thought to myself, what could I do? And I came up with 2 options. Tell the invigilator that he was cheating. Turn my computer away so that he couldn't see anymore. I decided that the first option would be harsh on him, so I went along with the second. Now, what I told him might be rude. I said, "I'm sorry, but I can't let you cheat off of me anymore. Do the next question on your own and don't disturb me, time is running out. Do what you learned in class." And I turned my computer screen away from him. TBH, that was a little hard for me too, as I now had to see the screen sideways, but I had to do that. His blatant cheating was annoying me. Then as I completed my exam, I looked over at his screen to see what he had done. He was stuck. Did some wrong steps and now couldn't figure out what to do. I told him to tell the invigilator that he was having some graphics issue, but he brushed me off. Now, I'm feeling a bit two-minded. On one hand, I'm thinking maybe I should have helped him, but on the other hand I feel that I'm not responsible for someone who doesn't practice study at home and depends on their seatmates. So, what do you think? Edit. So many people commented as to why I let him cheat off of me in the first place. Well, it's a thing here. Everyone helps each other out, but not wholly. You're considered a jerk or rude or egoist if you refuse to help someone out. Comment 1. Ida for allowing him to cheat off you in the first place. He's likely using someone else to carry him through every class and doing none of the work. Don't enable that. Comment 2. NTA. You worked hard to study and pass the exam, he didn't. He has to learn sooner or later. He needs to put some genuine effort to get good results in study or work. When he fails, it is not your fault. Don't feel guilty. Now for the next story. Am I the idiot for moving out after my best friend reveals a secret? I, 23F, have been friends with J, 23F, for 5 years. We met at work and quickly became best friends. After a few months, we ended up moving into an apartment together. Early on, Jay set me up with D, 27M, who she knew from work. They worked in the same department, while I worked in a different department. D and I hit it off. It started with flirting, and eventually we exchanged numbers and started dating. Jay was really excited that I was dating D because he was such a great guy. Fast forward 3 years and D and I broke up. He was moving for a new job opportunity and I wasn't interested in moving with him. I considered the breakup to be completely mutual and on good terms. I still loved and cared for D, and he expressed he felt the same for me. It's been 2 years, and honestly, I only consider D a good friend. I'm not hung up on him, and as far as I know he's not hung up of me either. We've both moved on, though we often exchange texts and catch up on social media. Last week, Jay and I were enjoying a Friday night and getting wine drunk and watching trashy reality TV. In the episode, a girl had been cheated on. Jay was quiet for the rest of the episode, then paused it when the credits started to roll. She said she had something to confess. My first thought was she wanted a heart-to-heart. Until she brought up D, my heart sank. He'd cheated on me for 2 out of the 3 years we'd been together, with 3 different women. All of which worked with Jay and D. Jay knew the entire time and didn't say a thing to me. She said she didn't know how to tell me, so she figured she'd be quiet and hope that I would eventually find out on my own. I never found out, because she'd also been lying for him, making excuses and telling me he had special projects and business trips. I didn't stay to listen to anything else. I packed a bag and went to my mom's house. I blocked her number and spent the weekend crying in my mom's lap. I had to block D as well because he started blowing up my phone on Saturday evening. On Monday, I called into work for the week and waited for Jay to leave for work before going back to the apartment and packing up all of my things. I left my key on the kitchen island. It's been a week now. I've had to block her and D from social media because they won't stop trying to contact me. Yesterday Jay showed up to my mom's house. When my mom didn't let her in, she stayed outside for an hour, begging me to hear her out. Comment 1. NTA, so your best friend set you up with this great guy, then he cheats on you for 2 out of the 3 years of your relationship and your BFF assisted him with the cheating, and she never told you about the cheating for 4 years. Sorry to tell you, but she has never been your friend. She was always your ex's friend first. She lied to you 4 out of the 5 years you were friends. If you want to hear her out, by all means do it. But ask yourself one question: will you trust anything she has to say? For all you know, BFF and ex could have been sleeping with each other behind your back. At this point, you can't believe anything either one of them has to say. Remember, they both lied to you for 4 years. Comment 2. She thought he was pretty hot too, or I doubt she would introduce him to you. I wonder if she was involved at the time and wanted to live vicariously through you. He slept with multiple coworkers in their department, but not her, and she just decided to protect him because the conversation was awkward. Just casually watching her roommate bestie getting cheated on.
Yeah.
Something is weird about it. You don't need the full truth though. End of the day, you can't trust someone like that. Sorry to hear your friend fucked you over. Here's to moving on to bigger and better things. Now for the next story. Am I the idiot for not wanting to help my ex-GF with her credit card debt? 2 months ago, my 29M girlfriend, 28F, of 3 years broke up with me out of nowhere. I found out that a couple weeks after dumping me, she began seeing a mutual coworker and now former friend of mine. We had a house and 2 dogs together, which she got to keep, on top of all the furniture and kitchen appliances, refrigerator, microwave, etc., that I provided. She now wants me to pay for almost half of her $6,600 credit card debt. The thing is, I still was willing to help pay for it, as long as she showed me patience and understanding. I told her I was not doing it because I felt I had to, but because I still loved her, forgave her, and wanted to help her. But she refused. She told me she wanted a lump sum of $3,000 and to cut contact entirely. That we are broken up and she does not owe me patience and understanding. I want to point out this is not a shared credit card, it is 100% hers, and when we were together, I was more than happy to pay off what I used. Since leaving me, she has racked up an additional $1,600 and went over her $6,500 limit. I have used the card in the past with her permission, but have always been good about paying what I used. I asked her if we could go over the charges together to see who exactly owes what, but she refused, said she looked at it herself and that I'm lucky she's only asking for $3,000. AITA to refuse to help pay my ex-girlfriend's credit card when she broke my heart. Got with a new man who was my friend within weeks of doing so, and made it clear she doesn't want me in her life at all? Because according to her, I owe her that and it's my responsibility. But she refuses to take responsibility for the fact that she cheated on me, emotionally and otherwise, for nearly the entirety of our 3-year relationship. I also found out that she had herpes before we got together and she never once disclosed it to me. She still denies it even after I showed her proof in the form of a screenshot of her talking about it. I still have feelings for her and I feel bad that she has to handle it all on her own, but I have felt very mistreated during these last 2 months. I had problems in the relationship. Our arguments would become fights more often than not because I sucked at communicating and would get hurt and offended by her criticisms. I have acknowledged my wrongdoings in the relationship, apologized profusely and promised to do better by her before today. But she is firm that the relationship failed 100% because of me, that I have no one to blame but yourself. It's mostly been her attitude post-breakup that has left me unwilling to help, but I still feel guilt regarding all of it. Comment 1. She wants him to pay her $3,000 in a lump sum and cut contact. He says he's still in love with her and wants to take his dear sweet time paying her back in increments, but now that she wants it all in a lump sum doesn't want to pay it back at all. Odds are he owes her more than $3,000 and he was using it as a way to force her to stay in contact anytime he wanted. With her somehow just magically getting the house and furnishings, there's also a chance there are children or law enforcement involved. Not a guarantee of course, but it's weird that she got to keep the furniture and everything else. Comment 2. I imagine a couple things, which, true comes from pure assumptions, but also it's Reddit. Her insistence that he pay, her saying that he's lucky she's only asking that amount, the fact that she got everything, without him attempting to get any of it back including house and expensive appliances, or at least making it seem that he isn't going after reclaiming anything, as well as him being willing to pay back what he says is purely her own debt. Plus also her saying that it's all 100% his fault the relationship failed. Honestly, I'm expecting in the next couple days for her side to come out detailing absolute horrid behavior on his part, like cheating and financial abuse.